I'm staring at the pictures on the wall of all the people that I want to call. I pack them up and take them on the road. I know there's only one I look at after all. Like a board game, we are trying to find the words, collect our points and make each other hurt. Now your answering machine is all I ever get. I think it's best that I start kicking dirt.
I guess there was something kind of wrong with me. I felt a little bit off. This is something commonly said by drug addicts and alcoholics, and very much true with me. I never really quite felt right, and I was probably alcoholic before I was alcoholic, and what I mean by that is the first time I ever drank alcohol, I drank about a finger's worth of bourbon whiskey, and it felt like the most perfect feeling that I had ever felt. It felt really medicinal, and I said, if I could have this, then I can get by on a daily basis, which means that I didn't feel like I was able to get by on a daily basis before having that finger of whiskey. It means that I didn't feel quite right. I didn't feel like I could face life without this.
The alcoholic mind doesn't respond to reason. It's an irrational type of thinking that goes on in the mind of a drug addict or an alcoholic, in the way that you could have every reason to not get high, whether it's impending jail, impending loss of job, financial situation, or even death, I guess, at that point, and it just doesn't respond to reason. Your brain isn't going to react like a normal person's brain would.
The Brook Retreat is a place where those who have been through the 12-step process teach the 12-step process, and our goal is to do the best we can to foster a spiritual experience through the use of the 12 steps, and hopefully it'll be sufficient enough for people to recover from alcoholism and drug addiction.
I went to my first halfway house when I was 21 in the city. And when I was at these places, I never learned to work on myself. I didn't think I needed to change. I thought woe's me, wrong place, wrong time. People are out to get me. And I never really held myself accountable for any of my actions.
My name is Rob Prest. I'm from Wisconsin. I came out here a little over a year and a half ago, not knowing, what I was getting into. And truth be told, but I came with a willingness and a want to change, because where I was at, I was very miserable and discontent with life, and the road I was going down was leading nowhere. All I was running into were dead ends, and life was just meaningless.
Well, from the moment I walked in the door, I was promised that I'd never have to get high again. That's never been told to me in my life. I first got high off my drug of choice at 16, which was opiates. Some things had happened. I broke my collarbone twice in a matter of 4 months. And within those 4 months, my father died. Then another one of my good friends died. And I'd like to tell you that was the reason why I continued to get high, but it wasn't. The real reason was I like to be out of myself. I like the feeling. There's nothing that personally happened to me that caused me to continue to get high. I chose to because I like the feeling. There's no excuses. I enjoyed it. Sounds.
No! One more.
For me, I spent a number of years going to treatment facility after treatment facility in which a very weird thing happened. I would go there with all the best intentions of never getting high again because it's a not so pleasant way to live. I mean, you're a slave to a chemical substance, and you lie and you cheat and you steal and you end up homeless and physically sick and mentally in a lot of pain, and nothing really about it is pleasant except for the maybe 20 to 25 minutes after you get high.
We're different in a lot of aspects. I think the main aspect is that we believe that it's more of a life problem, less of an addiction in the way that most people think, where you're just physically addicted. That was proven. I proved that to myself that I wasn't. My problem wasn't that I was physically addicted. When I went to detox when I was 17, drugs and alcohol were completely removed from my system. And if that was the case, then I should have never used an opiate again. I should have never drank again. And that just wasn't the case. I was high within 7 days. It turns out that drugs and alcohol weren't really my problem. They were more of my solution.
We give guidance, we give past experience advice, and we give tools out, and we give methods out, and it's really up to the person to do them, which is kind of what is true about everyone's recovery, and what is true about really a lot of things that regard our mentality and trying to change it in life. We kind of have to do it for ourselves.
When I came here and really found out what spiritual meant, and that it had nothing to do with religion but more with a way of life, then changes started to happen.
So spirituality to me is just like a peace of mind. I'm able to wake up in the morning and not fret about a drink or a drug, and I just know if I keep doing the right thing, the right things are gonna keep happening.
It is the most selfish thing for me to do, to not try to help anybody or pass it to somebody else. I was given it freely. Someone took their time out of their life to help me never get high again. And if I don't give that back to somebody else, I'll probably get high. That's what's gonna happen. Because when I'm living selfishly and I'm lying and I'm thinking all about myself, that's when I'm getting high. And to see these kids coming through the door, some of them are real sick, some of them are sick physically and mentally, in a matter of months changing, like I did. And when you're changing, you don't see it because it's yourself. When you see it in other people, it's a miracle.
Seeing someone come out on the other side is it's a feeling. It's the closest feeling that I've ever gotten to getting high in sobriety. It's a heartwarming feeling, to see someone change, to see their families change, to see what kind of good that someone can actually bring to their community.
It proves to me that what I did and what I am doing is the right thing to do, that it does work. I try not to focus too much on what I've done for these people, and I think of more of myself as like a broker. I kind of broker people into getting where they need to go, getting what they need to get, and I'm kind of hands off after that.
Get rid of the stigma. I hear the radio, I see the commercials. It drives me crazy because it's almost like co-signing kids' bullshit to get high. It's almost like it's okay, you can get high, you can ruin everyone's life around you, you can not be there for your kids, you can not be there for your family. It's okay because you can't do anything about it. It's just a disease that you have no control over. Yes, we have no control over a physical allergy, but we do have control over how we think and how we act on things.
I know for a long time I played the victim, and obviously we do self-inflict all these things on us, but really they're just kids like me, and all we needed was the opportunity to really sit down and break down our lives to the point where why was I doing this, and why did I have such a resentment towards these people, and I just needed time to like really figure out who I was.
But when I really started to put in the work and really started to try to help others and really tried to change who I was and all those things together, that's when I started to see that there was a lot of happiness in this new way of life. I didn't need drugs or alcohol to feel all right. I didn't need these things I thought would take me out of my head. I was able to deal with problems, and face these problems, not run from them.
I'll just say that like whoever ends up seeing this documentary, if it ends up coming across a drug addict or alcoholic that it just doesn't understand what is wrong with them, they continue to get high or drunk even though they don't want to. There is a solution out there. I know on a general scale this thing, drug addiction, alcoholism, seems entirely hopeless, and I've felt that as well. It does look hopeless a lot of times if you don't know what's wrong with you, but there is a solution.
Yeah, not with that thing.
We've got to fill
Not like you don't have to hold still.
this parking
Just
lot.
do your thing and
Just be normal.
Take a house there.
You're not being normal.
We've waited long enough. I'll be alright with what I got. No, I'm not scared. 'Cause I've seen the prison wall. And I've heard the demons howl. There's not much left there.
This is embarrassing.
We're falling to our knees. We try to scream, our vocals peak. So here's to getting lost. If there's a way out.